Look at them, y'all. It looked like Benny spit this boy out. Tiny, you got some explaining to do. Y'all, the rumors are starting with T.I. It's coming out that King is not his.
When the news first broke that King Harris had been sentenced, the internet froze. For a brief moment, the world seemed to stop spinning. Nobody wanted to believe it. People thought it was another rumor, another wild headline meant to stir chaos online, one that would disappear by morning like all the others. But then came the footage, real, raw, and heartbreaking, and everything changed. Inside that cold courtroom, Tiny sat motionless, her hands clenched together, eyes red but dry. She wasn't blinking much. It was like she was trying to hold herself together in front of everyone. The reporters, the guards, the people whispering in the back rows. Beside her sat T, silent and still, his expression unreadable but heavy. From a distance, they looked united, but those who saw them closely could tell something inside had cracked. The space between them wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual, almost unbearable. When the judge spoke the final words of King's sentence, Tiny's lips trembled, T's shoulders slumped. It wasn't just the loss of a case that broke him that day, it was the realization that somehow, despite all his power, all his fame, and all his lessons, he couldn't protect his son from himself. Cameras weren't allowed in that moment, but people who were there said it looked like time had stopped. They described T as a man completely broken, his eyes distant, his hands fidgeting, his heart somewhere far away. But what came after was even harder. The silence after the storm, the kind that tears through everything you thought you knew about family. While the internet was drowning in opinions and shock, Tiny was making a quiet decision, one that would change the course of her life. When she walked out of that courthouse, she didn't just walk away from the press or the pain. She was walking away from T. After years of standing by his side through scandals, public fights, and rumors, something inside her finally gave out. People had always seen Tiny and T as hip-hop's ride or die couple. They had survived cheating scandals, industry drama, and endless scrutiny. But this time was different. This wasn't about gossip or fame. It was about a mother watching her son spiral in real time and realizing too late that all the warning signs were there from the very beginning. Fans had watched King Harris grow up online. His confidence, his defiance, his live stream rants that often went too far. Many saw it as teenage rebellion, others saw pain. Behind the flashy lifestyle and social media antics was a young man struggling under the weight of a name too heavy for his age. He wasn't just a celebrity kid. He was a child living in a constant spotlight, trying to figure out who he was while millions watched. Tiny had always been the peacemaker, the calm voice in a loud, unpredictable household. She wanted softness, understanding, patience. She often begged T to go easier on King, to stop treating him like a soldier and start treating him like a son. But T was built on toughness. In his mind, structure was love, discipline was guidance. He believed he could protect his son by hardening him, by teaching him to survive the world before the world could break him. But as Tiny sat there in that courtroom, she couldn't stop wondering, had that toughness done more harm than good? After the sentencing, witnesses said T tried to speak to Tiny in the hallway. She didn't look at him. She walked straight past, face blank, hands shaking. Someone nearby heard her whisper under her breath, "This is on you. You made him like this." Those words hit harder than any headline. You made him like this. Social media erupted. Some defended her, saying any mother in that pain would lash out. Others accused her of abandoning T when things got hard. But for Tiny, this wasn't about public opinion. Something deep inside her had broken. That night, she didn't go home. Sources say she checked into a quiet hotel downtown, no entourage, no cameras, no distractions, just silence. Meanwhile, T was unraveling in his own way. People close to him said he barely ate, barely slept. He sat in his studio for hours, replaying old videos of King smiling, rapping, dancing. He kept whispering to himself, "I should have done more." Friends said he blamed himself completely, not just for the sentence, but for the distance that had crept between him and his family. But the internet wasn't kind. Old clips of T scolding King resurfaced. Critics accused him of being too harsh, too prideful. Others defended him, saying no parent can control every decision their child makes. And then, in the middle of the chaos, Tiny broke her silence. Late one night, she went live on Instagram. It wasn't long, just a few minutes, but it was enough. Her face looked tired, her eyes swollen, but her voice was steady. "Sometimes you think you're raising your kids together," she said softly, "but then you realize you were doing it alone." That one sentence shattered the internet. Thousands flooded the comments with sympathy, confusion, anger, but Tiny didn't say another word. She ended the live and disappeared again. Meanwhile, T tried to fix things the only way he knew how, through words. He posted a message about fatherhood, growth, and forgiveness. He said he loved his son unconditionally and would stand by him through it all. But even through the screen, people could feel it. The message wasn't just for the world. It was for himself. Days later, Tiny filed for legal separation. Not divorce. Not yet, but space. "I can't heal in the same place that broke me," she told a close friend. That quote spread everywhere. Fans were divided. Some said she was heartless for leaving at Te's lowest moment. Others said she had carried the emotional weight of that family for too long. The truth lived somewhere in between. Then came the twist nobody expected. A leaked video.it was filmed months before King's legal troubles began. In it, King and T could be seen arguing, voices raised, tension thick. King shouted, "You care more about your image than your family." Tiny stepped between them, begging them to stop. But King stormed out, slamming the door behind him. That video spread like wildfire. Everyone had an opinion. Some said it showed a father doing his best. Others saw a young man desperate to be heard. T released a statement denying he leaked it, asking for privacy. But by then, the damage was done. The world had already chosen sides. Weeks passed. T disappeared from social media. Insiders said he visited King often in prison, each visit leaving him quiet or older. A guard allegedly said King didn't trust anyone anymore, not even his dad. Tiny, meanwhile, started stepping out again. She attended charity events, smiled for cameras, spoke carefully in interviews, but her eyes still carried that sadness, the kind that never fully fades. When asked if she still loved T, she paused for a long time before saying softly, "Love doesn't always fix everything." That moment went viral. People finally saw the truth. This wasn't a celebrity scandal. It was real pain, real heartbreak. Then came the interview that broke T sitting down on a close friend's podcast. He finally opened up. His voice was low, his tone stripped of all pride. "When you spend your whole life trying to build something, and then you watch it crumble right in front of you," he said, "you start questioning everything. I thought I was doing what was best. I thought being tough meant being strong. But maybe I was just scared." For the first time, the world saw him, not the rapper, not the celebrity, but the man. Vulnerable, humbled, and full of regret. And just when people thought there might be hope for healing, Tiny made another public statement. Not in an interview, but during one of her shows. She paused mid-performance and said to the crowd, "Sometimes forgiveness ain't about going back. It's about letting go." The room went silent. Everyone knew who she meant. Later that night, T posted a single black screen with 3 words, "I hear you." That was the last time they interacted publicly. Months passed. King remained behind bars, reportedly focusing on writing music and reflecting. T began mentoring young men, speaking about choices and pride. Tiny leaned on her daughters, her music, and her faith. They weren't together anymore, not officially, but something about them still felt connected. Like two souls bound by love, pain, and memory. Maybe that's how some love stories end, not with anger, but with understanding. Because sometimes love isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go before you destroy each other. And even though Tiny walked out that day, she didn't walk away from herself. After years of living in the shadows of chaos, she finally found peace. T is quieter now, softer, more aware. The man who once believed he could control every situation has learned the